Good morning, everybody. A very warm welcome to Peer-to-Peer UK Hong Kong 2022 to our launch event. So good morning or good evening, obviously, depending where you are. Just to let you know, this session is being recorded and will be added to the Peer-to-Peer website later today. I'm Lindsay Taylor from the University of Salford Art Collection, and along with Sarah Fisher, Director of Open Eye Gallery in Liverpool, we've led the Peer-to-Peer project since 2019. The project is based on exchange between the visual arts sectors in the UK and Hong Kong. Our intention was to forge meaningful partnerships between artists and organisations in both places, and to do this through a distributed leadership model, which Sarah will discuss shortly. This opening session aims to bring together the people who've made this festival possible, to reflect on the last 2 years and to consider where do we go from here. We will hear from Nicola Smyth from Arts Council England, our core programme funder, and from each of the partnerships that have grown out of this programme. Firstly, however, I'd really like to introduce Ying Kwok, who many of you will already know, and who has been our Hong Kong ambassador throughout this iteration of Peer-to-Peer. Ying, over to you.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Lindsay. It's really my honor to be the ambassador of Peer-to-Peer UK Hong Kong Digital Festival 2022. So back in 2020, I was fortunate enough to work with Lindsay and Sarah and the team on the first edition of Peer-to-Peer, providing an overall artistic direction and the curatorial support. It was an immediate response at the time to the lockdown due to the global pandemic. We're all not able to be traveling like what we used to do. But really deep in our heart, we have a strong belief in the sharing and generosity, which is the core value of Peer-to-Peer Festival. As someone worked in the UK, then moved back to Hong Kong, I can see there is lack of large-scale city-wide collaboration like what we have in the UK that involve a large number of organizations working together. There was definitely an advantage on sharing the knowledge, resources, opening up new channel to engage a wider audience, which I have never really seen in Hong Kong. So Peer-to-Peer 2020 happened responding to that special lack in the city. I really would love to see something like that, that not just connecting the organization in Hong Kong on a large citywide scale, but also connect to other organizations overseas. At the first edition of Peer-to-Peer, we set to explore distributed leadership, working with organizations from both countries to suggest artists for new commission, online exhibition, social media residence, and also to develop the symposium and talks. But for this second edition, we took the logical step to develop a greater collaboration, not having the overall artistic direction being a very specific, unique character for our festival. This festival is not being curated, rather it has evolved through encouraging partners to form out of shared concern or idea for collaboration. In turn, the partner organizations have worked to support artists to also collaborate. So my role in this festival is very different. Having helped make initial connection, I have stepped back and let the partner develop their own program and take it in their own direction. It is not my role to, it's now my role to reflect on this model of distributed leadership. So as the festival opens, I did like all of us to prepare a reflection. So during one of our group webinar, Yang from 1983 came up with a brilliant idea of capturing the written or image response to the process of collaborative exchange. I'm delighted to be supporting her and then got him to shape this into a peer-to-peer memoir. It is a digital publication which will be developed during the festival and make available for free as a PDF publication at the end of the festival when it closes on the 9th of October. So with this in mind, now I would like to introduce Sarah Fisher, director of Open Eye Gallery, to say a few words about why this model is useful, particularly in the current climate. I'm over to you, Sarah.
Thanks a lot, Ying. It's been a really interesting journey, actually. I think I should start by saying, although it is a different model to the last one, we are working with two countries that have a very rich history of actively supporting the international profile of their artists. And that sort of backdrop has made it easier for us. In this one, we're really looking at the international arena as a space for artists and arts organisations to come together over a period of time. So this has been months and months in the making, as a space in which we can share approaches, refine ideas, create together, develop new processes for collaboration across borders. And I think it's important that process has become incredibly important. And in this sense, we're calling it a distributed leadership model. I think it's as much about exchanging skills and knowledge and experience and sharing up our networks as it is about the actual creative artworks that you'll see on the website. But actually, if you go to the website, there's an amazing cross-section of very, very different works there for everybody to see. Overall, there's been 9 organisations that in the UK that have partnered, 9 organisations in Hong Kong. And each partnership's invited artists from both countries to come and have a look at a theme. They've developed this via discussions online, so webinars, Zoom meetings. They've used email, and even in one project, they've been utilising the postal service. Again, the symposium topics, the Instagram takeovers, the artworks, the images, all of the online projects have come together through this exchange. So really the whole thing is distributed leadership in action. It's involved more than 43 artists and over 160 students. And they together have shaped the offer. In some partnerships, the artists have used the peer-to-peer platform to kind of navigate that live art performance space in virtual and physical spaces simultaneously. In others, the artists are sharing their creative processes or investigating poignant ideas. And in others still, the exchange itself has built up to a finished collaborative artwork. Coming out of the pandemic, as people have said, our relationship to international travel's changed. The cultural sector in the UK is working really hard to reduce its carbon footprint. So we need to champion digital exchange, but we also need to think about that role that artists play in forging productive connections between peoples. We need to, in some way, navigate what's become an increasingly fractured international scene and international relations. To some extent, we're talking about artists themselves and their practice transcending borders. And to conclude, I think it might be useful to actually think of a definition of cultural transcendence as the ability of individuals and societies to draw connecting lines between seemingly disparate identity points, instinctively rising above difference into coherence and synergy. And I'd actually add into insight, particularly creative insight. None of what we've done would have been possible without the support of Arts Council England. So I'd like to invite Nicola Smyth, who is Senior Manager for International at the Arts Council, to say a few words and actually effectively, officially open the festival. Nicola.
Thank you, Sarah. My goodness, what an honour to officially open a festival. I'm really delighted to be here today and open the second iteration of peer-to-peer. Arts Council England has supported this as a vehicle for greater understanding between two incredibly rich visual arts ecosystems, which have such a lot to offer each other as international collaborators. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, our focus at Arts Council England was necessarily on supporting the cultural sector here to survive that series of lockdowns and restrictions. And I know our colleagues in Hong Kong grappled with exactly the same devastating consequences. But through that, we continued to recognise the value of international activity. And in that very difficult year of 2020, the first digital exchange programme of peer-to-peer happened, and it was this really bright spot in the calendar. For me, I'd been working from my bedroom for all of that year, and to suddenly see across the globe to all those different faces was a really inspiring moment. So at Arts Council, we have a 10-year strategy called Let's Create, and it's about supporting cultural organisations in the UK to present the best of world culture, to excite and inspire audiences here, as well as maintaining our support for international showcasing opportunities and for touring, and for work to evolve new international exchange programmes like this one, which provide so much energy and reflection around our global perspective. Now, COVID-19 has obviously accelerated, as Sarah and others have been saying, digital exchange as a first step to creating international connections. And it's also come at a time when Arts Council is supporting a greater variety of cultural forms and encouraging organisations to engage broader and more diverse audiences. And international engagement is absolutely at the heart of that thinking and support. In the words of our 10-year strategy, Let's Create, looking into the future as our country's relationship with Europe changes, our role in helping artists and organisations to work internationally will become even more important. International activity promotes understanding and knowledge exchange, and over the next 10 years, we will extend the international profile of the cultural sector, helping those organisations already working internationally to strengthen their activity and developing new opportunities for individuals and organisations to build global partnerships. So that's our aspiration. And as Sarah has already said, we can't go back to international working in the world as it was before the pandemic hit. And so something like this is really showing a way forward for the cultural community across the globe. And I'm very, very happy to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nicola. Thank you, Sarah and Ying. As many of you know, the main venue for the festival starting today is our website, peertopeerexchange.org. This digital platform includes all the different projects that each of the 9 partnerships have developed in very, very different ways. So I'm now going to invite each of the partnerships to briefly introduce their partnership and their project. I'm going to start with Angel. Would you like to start, please?
Thank you, Lindsay. Hi, everybody. I'm Angel, the adjunct curator of Video Touch. In this year, peer-to-peer, Video Touch has worked with BOM to organize a virtual body micro-residency. The virtual residency happened between 5th and 9th September with 2 artists, Amma Dogby from the UK and Yali Ellison from Hong Kong. The aim of this project is to explore virtual materialization of bodies through game art. And the idea of the micro-residency is to provide the artists with the most needed time and resources to develop their creative ideas and encourage exchange between them. In return, they will provide us with updates and documentation of their creative development. Amma worked on societal pressure and assimilation in disapproved communities, while Yali worked on the gender health data gap. During the 5-day residency, the artists developed and experimented on their ideas through research papers, sketches, rendering, and game engines. It laid a very important foundation for the development of their artworks. And as a result of the residency, on 29th September, this Thursday, the 2 curators, which mean Louis from BOM and I, will have a conversation with the artists to discuss their experience and share their experience during this micro-residency. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Angel. Matthew, over to you.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, everyone. So my name is Matthew Pendergast. I'm curator at Castlefield Gallery here in Manchester. We were partnered with Hong Kong Arts Centre, and we had lots of ideas about what to do. Something we both agreed on was we were interested in having something that was both online but also AFK, away from keyboard. So we decided to pair 3 artists based in Manchester with 3 artists based in Hong Kong. And those 3 pairs met online. They spent time on Zoom, getting to know each other's work, with the idea that they would make something for the peer-to-peer website, but they would also have contributed to 2 live events. There was a live event here at Castlefield Gallery and one at Hong Kong Arts Centre. And at those events, the artists either presented new artworks that they'd made through collaborating and discussing their work online, or they simply presented the work of the artists that weren't present. And we were really interested in this kind of idea of how an artist here in Manchester might introduce audiences here to an artist's work who's based far away in Hong Kong, but how those kind of digital platforms like this one we're using now can kind of help them get to know each other, but then how they can also kind of be there physically for each other in their respective locations. So that's kind of what we did. And there's documentation of those events and some of the new bits and pieces that the artist made on the website at the moment. And if you want to hear more from us, we've got an event on October 8th, 10 o'clock UK time, 5 o'clock Hong Kong time, where myself, Teresa from Hong Kong Arts Centre, Juliana, who's here from Per Platform, will be getting together to talk about art at the edge of language. So perhaps see you there.
Thanks very much, Matthew. Paul, over to you.
Thanks, Lindsay. Hello, everyone. So yeah, I'm Paul Herman. I'm from Red Eye, which is a photography network based here in the UK. And I'm here to introduce our project, which is The Power of Place, which has worked with 3 organisations, ourselves, Open Eye, the photography gallery in Liverpool, and WMA, which is a platform facilitating greater understanding of Hong Kong through lens-based art. So for this project, like everyone else, we've been thinking about the 2 big questions, how artists and photographers respond to the idea of place and how they might exchange ideas and collaborate. And obviously, we all know it's only going to get harder to meet. So this has been such an interesting exercise. So I think it's fair to say we've taken quite an optimistic view of these challenges. What are the possibilities for ways of working, and can it unlock new types and methods of work? So just to look very quickly at the exchanges, there's actually 7 photographic artists selected from Hong Kong and 6 more selected from the UK. And those 13 have worked in 5 small groups of 2 or 3 people each. And they've actually produced an incredibly rich and diverse range of exchanges between the artists of ideas, visual material, using both digital and physical channels. And Sarah referred earlier to letters, which is included in the methods people have used for their exchanges. There's been film swaps with double exposures, letters and diaries, photogrammetry, 3D models, and lots more. So we've got a symposium session on this Friday coming up, Artist, Power and Place. And please do come along to that to see more and discuss those new ways of working. And then secondly, to mention that Red Eye's compiled what we're calling the Power of Place directory, which gives details of all the artists and photographers who responded to our open call on the subject. So it's intended to be a great resource for anyone who's thinking about new ways of responding to working from and about the place where they are. So that should go live very shortly at powerofplace.org. So thanks, that's me.
Great, thank you very much, Paul. I'd now like to invite Polly to say a few words.
Hi everybody. Firstly, thank you so much for the invitation to work on this programme. It's been really exciting and super inspiring to meet everybody today. So Open School East, where I'm from, was developed in 2013, and we're based in Margate in East Kent. We're a free art school and community space and our whole programs are all about opening up diverse and accessible ways of ensuring that anyone face cultural or economic, different types of barriers into the arts. And we're partnered with Rooftop Institute from Hong Kong, who were developed in 2016 and are an artist-run charitable organisation with a real support and recognition of a need for alternative space for communal learning. And I guess both our organisations have this nice kind of conversation between the need to be adaptable and agile to how we support artists and education kind of globally, nationally and locally. And our artists took that as a starting point, responding to various critical texts around the unknownness of alternative learning and teaching. And the program's called Ways of Learning. Hisham Gardaf, who's come through Open School East, has created a new film called The Storyteller, which is already online, exploring themes of universal teaching, oral storytelling, and limitations and possibilities of language. And Morgan Wong's new work, Journey, which will be live performance today between 2 and 3 p.m. UK time and 9 till 10 p.m. Hong Kong time, which will be a live performance of their work looking at scenic images taken in rural China from the 70s, connecting again to oral history and teaching and learning. And then that film will be on the festival site for the remaining future. We also, just to finish up, have a symposium where the artists and myself from Rooftop Institute will talk about the processes and inspiration of the work. And that's on Tuesday, the 4th of October, 10 to 11 a.m. UK time and 5 to 6 p.m. Hong Kong time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Polly. And now can I invite Peter to say a few words?
Thanks so much, Lindsay. And just to say a huge congratulations to all the team at Peer-to-Peer for once again doing another amazing festival, complex, so much work from both sides of the world, and a triumph as ever, as it was back in 2020. So my name's Peter Bonnell. I'm the arts program manager at Kwok and also former festival director. Kwok is an arts centre based in the city centre of Derby, and we're very fortunate to build a great partnership with Blind Spot Gallery. And through that working together, we spoke about common things that both organisations wanted to talk about in this partnership, and that was, as well as photography and lens-based media, but the use of creative and digital new media techniques. And we decided to commission 2 artists, and as the project developed, we realized that both artists were looking at common shared aims and ambitions of the organizations involving world building and well-being. So we commissioned from the UK side an artist called Sima Matu, who's actually going to be exhibiting work at Kwok here next summer, and the artist from Hong Kong, Eason Sentence. And Eason developed a new work based around his sort of experience during the pandemic with his tropical fish, looking after them, notions of well-being, looking after the self, and Sima's work, which is very much about creating worlds quite literally from the ground up, with this game work called Love Explore. So as we developed those parts of the project, we realized that these things came together so well for a symposium talk that I'm doing, co-chaired with the amazing cultural theorist and writer and curator Helen Starr from the Mechatronic Library, as well as with Sima Matu, Eason, and the artist who Breakdown, who's just had a show launch at Wise in Art Centre, which is very much about world building as well. And also during the festival period, Eason will be doing a social media residency on our Kwok's Instagram page, and likewise Sima will be doing a social media residency with Blind Spot. So that's me.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Peter. Clara, can I invite you to say a few words now, please?
Yes, thank you, Lindsay. So this is Clara from CNG Art Department. So this time, thank you very much for the invitation. Gum and I, we are involved in the back and forth mail art project commissioned by University of Salford Art Collection, and also 1A Space from Hong Kong. So we've been communicating with Mark Jung, the corresponding artist from Hong Kong, and also because this project is curated by Wes Jung, invited by 1A Space. So we have been having a lot of chats online. And at the beginning, we were really hungry for the physical public engagement with real people. So we started with going to the public space, to the streets in Sheffield to look around. And then we discovered a lot of the same street names that we also have a lot of experiences with in Hong Kong. So starting with the street names that exist in both Hong Kong and UK, we started to reach out to people in Sheffield to try to let them know we have all these amazing stories, and we would like to also listen to the stories from Sheffield's streets. And then we have been using also the postal surveys to mail the postcards actually written by the participants in Sheffield to Hong Kong, to Mark Jung, and then he also lovely sending the objects in response. So on the website later on, if you go to peer-to-peer exchange.org, you will see also somehow Mark Jung's response will then fit back to the Sheffield streets with a lot of the low-tech video making technique. We use the stop motion animation to make it more sci-fi, but in a more low-tech way. So we are looking forward to also respond to questions from participants in this project in a symposium session on October 2nd. It's called the Questions on the Road. So we will talk about all the questions we got from participants in this project. Yeah, so that's the bit from the back and forth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Clara. Juliana, over to you.
Hi, hello, good morning and good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. My name is Juliana, and I'm the co-founder of Per Platform. We are a Hong Kong-based contemporary art organization that is interested in promoting the development of live art and performance art in Hong Kong, mainly by means of annual festivals, exhibitions, and performance art workshops. This is our first year joining peer-to-peer, and we're really honored and delighted to partner with University of Salford Art Collection. Our project is called I Become a Question for You. And as you will see on the peer-to-peer website, it is a 2-channel video featuring 2 performance artists, Fallen Slam representing Hong Kong and Nicola from the UK. So the work really, the video work documents the process of how these 2 artists exchange and interact without ever being in the same physical space over the past few weeks. Their online meetings and their attempts to communicate, explain, comprehend, and misunderstand each other were all documented by their partners, Darren Nixon and Chen Si-woon. So this footage collected from their partners' intimate perspective were then put together to produce the final work, which you can see on peer-to-peer's website. And it's really interesting because in it, all the errors and technical difficulties that many of us will encounter in Zoom sessions and all those blockage then assume a performative quality, while the film itself, I think, also challenges our preconceived distinctions between live art and its documentations. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Juliana. Marta.
Hello, my name is Marta. I'm an artist development coordinator at Backlit in Nottingham. We are the biggest artist studio gallery in the East Midlands, and we support emerging artists in the region through our artist development program and involvement in public programming. Backlit has worked with Brilliant Art Gallery from Hong Kong to support the production of a digital platform called Loop by Nicola Wong, who's a studio artist at Heart, and Millie Quick and Tom Ireland, who are associate artists at Backlit. And the spirit of the collaboration has been captured by exploring themes of infinite translation and intercultural communication, which can result in error, confusion, but also unexpected excitement. We have also invited associated artists to contribute in form of Instagram takeover, which is actually starting tomorrow. And artists reflected on the theme of locality and how this influenced their practice. And using this occasion, I would also like to thank Dorcas from Heart Gallery, who's been an amazing partner and collaborator for this project. So thank you a lot, Dorcas.
Thanks very much, Marta. Hin, you made it. I see you've had a few technical issues getting in, but we're really pleased to have you. Would you like to tell us a bit about your project?
Yeah, thank you, Lindsay. Hi, everyone. This is Kwok Hin, a visual artist. I co-founded in 1983 with a scholar, art critic, lecturer, Yang. And 1983 is a space focusing on the connection of artistic people as human beings to eat, to watch films, to discuss, to gather, to share their anxiety and happiness. This edition of Peer-to-Peer, we cooperate with Nicola Art Gallery and The Exchange. Our exchange project focuses on higher education in UK and Hong Kong, connecting art students from formal university and the Chinese University of Hong Kong, and facilitate them to figure out a live program, workshop, or an engaging section through the online platform during the festival. Before the development about the format of our live event, we have gone through several conversations between UK and Hong Kong students. From our side, which is now also showing at P2P website, we have tried to do a collective writing workshop named May Still Waters Run Deep with Hong Kong students as a glimpse and experiment of how we can really apply the online platform as a tool to create art and create some ways of non-spoken conversations. And we treasure the time exchanging ideas and thoughts among the UK and Hong Kong students, and believe the rates of our processing. And students have hosted some online meetings before, and in Hong Kong, we have cooked with the students and have had some workshop hosted by artists chanting. And it is now our new semester in the university. And the UK and Hong Kong students will meet again on 29th of September, and the content of our live event, Knots and Crossings, on 7th of October is going to be specific and interesting. Please join us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hin. Thank you very much, everybody. I think you hope everyone agrees that there's some really amazing projects that have come out of this. There's some really sort of very inspiring talks and symposium sessions to come. Thank you. And I really encourage everybody to engage with the platform and to look at all these projects at your leisure. I mean, I've had a sneak preview and there's some really amazing work. So please do have a look. Of course, as many of my colleagues have mentioned, there are 8 further symposium sessions, which include live performances, events, discussions, and launches spread across the next 2 weeks. All the details and the Eventbrite links are on the website, peertopeerexchange.org. So please do join us over the next 2 weeks. However, if you can't make a specific session, they are all being recorded and will be uploaded to the website. Can I also encourage everyone to share on social media, please, using the hashtag peer-to-peer-UK-HK22. We really must thank, before we finish, our wonderful team for pulling together this festival and making it all run smoothly. So I would like to thank Seba, our UK producer, and Clara and Gum, our Hong Kong producers. We'd also like to thank Steve Wade, our technical manager, without whom we wouldn't be here now. And I think he's been up all night making all the artworks live for this morning. Also, thanks to Jackie Bennett-Shaw for leading our comms, and for Rick Carr for all his sterling work on coordinating the symposium sessions. Finally, can I remind you that the first live performance does happen later today at 2 o'clock UK time, 9 o'clock Hong Kong time. I'm really looking forward to seeing Morgan Wong's lecture performance, and there's still time to book a space, so please do. So this is the end of this session. A massive thank you to everybody and enjoy the festival.